Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the ordinances of the town of Zionsville, Indiana.
and the ordinances of the town of Zionsville, Indiana.
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge all my official duties
discharge all my official duties
in the position of firefighter
in the position of firefighter
in the town of Zionsville,
in the town of Zionsville,
regardless of the race,
regardless of the race,
creed,
creed,
color,
color,
religion,
religion,
sex,
sex,
or national origin
or national origin
of the persons I serve.
of the persons I serve.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Our next firefighter is Jonathan Neal, being pinned by his brother Tommy Neal. He's assigned to our B shift. Graduated from Martinsville High School, went on to graduate from Indiana State University. And a fun fact about his brother, that he was once kicked in the head by a bull at a wedding.
Can't even tell. Can't even tell. It's amazing. Will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Jonathan Neal, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the town of Zionsville,
of the
Indiana.
town of Zionsville, Indiana.
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge all my official duties
discharge all my official duties
in the position of firefighter
in the position of firefighter
for the town of
for
Zionsville,
the town of Zionsville,
regardless of the race,
regardless of the race,
creed,
creed,
color,
color,
religion,
religion,
sex,
sex,
or national origin
or national origin
of the people I serve.
of the people I serve.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Our next member to be sworn in is Davis Schlichty. He's being pinned by his mother, Margie Schlichty. Davis is assigned to our C shift, graduated from Guerin Catholic High School, went on to graduate from Butler University. A fun fact about his mother is that she's been a nurse for 36 years and inspired probationary firefighter Schlichty to become an EMT and ultimately join the fire service. Mr. Mayor.
Welcome. You, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Davis Schlichty,
I, David Schlichty,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the town of Zionsville, Indiana.
of the town of Zionsville, Indiana.
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge all my official duties
discharge all my official duties
as a firefighter
as a firefighter
for the town of Zionsville,
for the town of Zionsville,
regardless of the race,
regardless of the race,
creed,
creed,
color,
color,
religion,
religion,
sex,
sex,
or national origin
or national origin
of the persons I serve.
of the persons I serve.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And our last firefighter to be sworn in this evening is Robert Wallman, being pinned by his son Logan and wife Melissa. He's assigned to our B shift and is a paramedic firefighter. Graduated from Maryville High School, attended Holy Cross, and a fun fact about his wife is she grew up on a farm, won a shooting contest at age 10 and an archery contest at age 20. Mr. Mayor.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome. Thank you. Could you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Robert Wallman,
I,
Robert Wallman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the town of Zionsville, Indiana.
of the town of Zionsville, Indiana.
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge all my official duties
discharge all my official duties
as a firefighter
as a firefighter
for the town of Zionsville,
for the town of Zionsville,
regardless of the race,
regardless of the race,
creed,
creed,
color,
color,
religion,
religion,
sex,
sex,
or national origin
or national origin
of the persons I serve.
of the persons I serve.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
So you six may not be aware of a tradition that we started a few years back where the executive team personally funds a few gifts for those individuals that successfully complete the Recruit Academy and become probationary firefighters. So I'm going to explain a little bit about each of these two gifts. So the first gift you'll be receiving tonight is a necklace of St. Florian, the patron saint of firefighters. No matter what your religious preference is, we ask that you wear this, and every time you feel it on your chest, you remember that there are many people counting on you, whether that be the people standing beside you, the men and women in the back, the citizens, and ultimately your families that you need to go home to. So we ask that each of you bear this whenever you're on duty and use that as a reminder of the obligation that you have to all those that you serve with and serve for. And all of them are custom with your guys' unit number on them. The other gift, as I saw some eyes light up, is a bottle of bourbon. And this bottle of bourbon is intended to serve as what you are writing for your legacy. You'll see on here it's engraved, and it says, open on or after June 5th, 2046. That's 20 years from your graduation date from the Recruit Academy. But it's a reminder for you as you're progressing through your career, whether it's trials and tribulations, good times, bad times, that there is a legacy that's being written by each one of you, as is everybody that is in the uniforms around the room. So we ask at that mark or after, you take this, you share it with your classmates, fellow firefighters, those that may have helped you in tough times, and ultimately your families to celebrate the legacy that you wrote. So at this time, Chief Van Gorder and I will be giving these out to you guys, and we'll grab a quick photo.
President, with your approval, go ahead and exit the room.
Yeah, please. It's a real honor and privilege for us to get to be able to host ZFD as we're swearing in new members of the firefighter team. So thanks to all. Jamie, you're suggesting that we take a minute to go ahead and, I know we got some folks out in the hallway too, so if we'll get a couple-minute break if you guys want to go ahead and depart, and then we'll huddle back up here in a minute. Much. Let's pick it back up. I understand that maybe the audio online wasn't. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Apparently, the audio wasn't working maybe at the top of the call, so I did make an announcement earlier that our esteemed president and colleague Jason Plunkett wasn't with us tonight because he and his wife Brittany were celebrating the birth of a new daughter yesterday, so that's why he's not here, and we were thrilled to congratulate the whole family. So just want to make that announcement again. Okay. We do have next up is the approval of the consent agenda. And unless somebody would like to discuss something within that, I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Councilor Sampson, seconded by Councilor Malcalderi. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Next up is a request to speak on agenda item, and we do have quite a few. But before we do, Heather, would you mind just kind of walking through our process and rules around request to speak? And then we may have to take some action on that before we begin.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everyone. So this evening, what we typically do, if you haven't had an opportunity to sign up, you'll need to get a card to Amy quickly, and they're just at the back table there if you want to speak. We typically limit the number of speakers. It is at the discretion of the president of the council to waive that requirement, so we'll see how many we have if we think we are going to need to. We limit testimony to 3 minutes per person. If you are here to speak on more than one agenda item, we do still limit you to 3 minutes total. So take your 3 minutes across more than one agenda item. You can only speak on items that are currently on the agenda, so if there's anything else that you want to talk about, you're welcome to send an email to the town council, and we're happy to review it for a future meeting or talk with your individual representative who represents you. I don't see any signs in the room. If you do have a sign, I don't see any this evening, just tuck it under your chair for security reasons. We need to make sure we have clean line of sight, but again, I don't see any of those this evening. So that is it. Typically, we allot 15 minutes for the public speaking portion of the agenda, but Mr. President, you may waive that if you see fit.
Yeah, I think that's been the practice of this council, so I wouldn't want to change that. We do have 12 requests to speak, so, maximum time there would be at 3 minutes each. So I'm prepared to go ahead and allow us to suspend that and move forward, letting everybody have their 3 minutes at the microphone. So I'll just move in order of how they were received. First up is Sue Ingledow. Sue's not here, okay.
Unless somebody was going to speak on her behalf. Okay.
Gregory McDaniel. Here we go. Oh, yeah, hold on. I got to get my Jason Plunkett timer out, sorry.
I won't go 3 minutes, I promise. All right, very good. My name is Greg McDaniel, Honorable Town Council. I live at 3220 South, 875 East. My wife and I have been a resident of Zionsville for over 25 years. We've raised 2 daughters through the school system. We're on our 3rd home in Zionsville on 875, and that home boasts honeybees, a large garden, and a peaceful backyard sanctuary. I'm here today to strongly oppose the Smith-Pulte rezone request. The core issue is transition. What we currently have is a farm field that is surrounded by 5-acre estate properties on average. Every single neighboring property touching this proposed development is a large homestead. We've repeatedly asked Pulte to provide a proper transition by creating larger estate lots, at least 1 acre, where they border existing homestead. They've denied this request every single time. This is the only reasonable way to protect the character of our neighborhood. My own 3-acre property would directly face the back door of 3 new backyards along my south property line. My neighbor Brant Lawson would have 3 homes against his, and Matt Cornicione, sorry Matt, I think I just butchered that, would have 7. That's 7 lots, all asterisk lots, that are smaller than a 1/4 acre each. While production builders are an important piece of Zionsville's overall housing portfolio, they do not belong in a cornerstone property like this one. 30875 sees a tremendous amount of traffic from Hamilton and Hendricks County and beyond as families head to our soccer and baseball fields, tennis courts, and the Eagles facilities. I don't know, maybe I'm a little shell-shocked, but I drive through Whitestown every week to get to Yulin Country Club, and I counted 4 new Pulte neighborhood sales signs on the way last week. It's a 15-minute drive, and that is in no way uniquely Zionsville. Anyway, we aren't asking to stop progress. We're simply asking you to honor the spirit of this area. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Greg.
And I forgot that part, no clapping. No clapping, no jeering, no comments, no heckling, no, hey, good job, hey, bad job. So all those things.
Well, I appreciate that, Heather, and it's just always respectful for folks who are attending. Okay, next up, we have Mr. Brian Baker. Is Brian here? Brian, I forgot to say, at 2 minutes, I'll just kind of give you a sign so you know you're kind of got the minute left.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
My timer going here too, so thank you.
So, it's all you.
Good evening.
My name is Brian Baker. My wife and I live at 3230 South 800 East here in Zionsville. We've been residents now for about 8 years. We purchased our property because of the very distinct and wonderful qualities about the surrounding area. We find it that this development, we are directly west of the development on the west side of 800. And so given that, that I've said that, I want to also shift a bit here and say that founded in 1875, Zionsville is a story of success realized because of careful thought, careful planning, and responsible citizenry. Those attributes can be found in any period of our history. Our community's historic rural landscape and our quiet way of life is valued by us, our neighbors, and visitors alike. North Zionsville is known for its rural character, native ecosystems, wildlife, and low density. It exemplifies what makes Zionsville unique and tangibly represents Zionsville's vision to maintain and enhance our community as vibrant and vital, with a small town atmosphere reflecting its village heritage through ensuring overall density, low density development. Mayor Stair is quoted as saying, "I think a lot of people here understand that we need to have some commercial growth in our tax base, but the people that live in our rural areas really care a lot about the historical rural nature of where they live. So we want to protect that," close quote. Recent rapid development across Zionsville, especially in rural zones and natural places, have threatened to change our town forever and runs counter to the principles laid out in the Zionsville Comprehensive Plan. The uniqueness of Zionsville stems from a combination of historic preservation, natural beauty, and a stellar school system. Zionsville is not only defined by the historic charm of the brick Main Street, quaint shops, eateries, preserved homes of yesteryear, but also by its heritage, an expansive countryside, cropped fields, roadside stands, livestock pastures, horse corrals, ponds, and woodland areas. This rural setting is threatened with extinction as each and every acre is bulldozed to build in the name of progress to increase the tax base and to ultimately grow our local government as departments expand.
Brian, that's three.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Very briefly. Civic engagement is paramount in directing you, our elected officials, in determining what is good and right for our community. The Plan Commission narrowly approved this project with a 4-3.
Okay, Brian.
Brian,
Sorry.
we have to
Vote.
cut you off, please, at 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
Great,
you.
thanks.
Next is Nathan Parmer.
Tall enough, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Nathan Parmer. I'm at 8681 East 300 South. My wife, my daughter, and my mother reside there. We've been in Zionsville for about 12 years and at our current residence for 6. So for people who don't know where that is, 800 and 875 is where the strangest four-way stop could ever be placed is. So I roughly drive 30 minutes to and from my practice in Noblesville, and I see parts of Noblesville, Carmel, Westfield, great communities, but what I'm struck is there's virtually no distinction between them. I challenge anyone to show me where one ends and when the other begins. But when you get to 421, 146 to 300 south, something changes. You notice more sight lines, trees, pastures, livestock, unique, beautiful, and interesting home sites, many offset of the road. It's a beautiful place and one in which to be proud to be from. What's not welcome is the increasing traffic burden faced by our community. Anyone who travels between the hours of 3:30 and 6 will routinely sit anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes at a backup at 300 South and Pleasant View. If there's any kind of weather, that traffic increases exponentially. And once you make it to the corner of 300 and 875, myself and my neighbors understand that 6 different stop signs represent more of a suggestion, as most people roll through those stop signs. It can be a harrowing experience to try to get your mail as you cross that street. I mention this to describe the experience of traffic as it currently stands. My concern is not opposition to all growth. My concern is whether or not our current rural road infrastructure can safely absorb the traffic impact of an additional 199 homes. Transportation engineers estimate a single-family home generates approximately 8 to 10 vehicle trips per day. This subdivision would add approximately 1,600 to 2,000 additional vehicle trips every day onto rural roads, which currently serve residents, school buses, farm equipment, cyclists, emergency vehicles, and this is in addition to the 1,000 or more units the council has approved without not yet having been fully built out.
Nathan, 1 minute. Go ahead.
These roads were never designed to function as a suburban collector road. The 2024 Indiana Crash Facts Report shows that rural roads account for 8.5 fatal injuries crashes per 1,000 collisions compared to just 2.5 in urban areas. Even worse, with fatal crash rates approaching 9.8 per 1,000 collisions in rural Boone County. In addition to the questions regarding density placed before the council tonight, I encourage you to also consider whether our current roads can safely handle long-term traffic consequences. Once rural land is converted to suburban density development, the change is permanent: increased congestion, increased crash risk, more dangerous school bus routes, delayed emergency response times, and the gradual loss of the rural character of this community are not temporary, they are permanent. I respectfully ask the council to prioritize public safety, infrastructure capacity, and the preservation of Boone County's rural character before developing or approving this development. Thank
Right
you.
on time. Thank you. Perfect. And next is Marissa Palmer, assuming potentially related.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Marisa Palmer, and I live at 8681 East, 300 South in rural Zionsville. Before my husband and I were married, we had already identified Zionsville as the place where we wanted to raise a family. Many things made us want to make Zionsville our home, including the public school system. Zionsville Community Schools consistently rank in the top 5 school systems in Indiana in nationwide surveys. I believe this is a result of several factors. We have great teachers, we have great administrators at every school, and we have parents who are heavily invested and involved in their children's education. I believe that small class sizes are also a huge factor in having a successful education. This allows more individualized attention from instructors and more one-on-one learning opportunities. As a weekly volunteer at Z West for the past 3 years, I can tell you that hallways are packed when classes change, and several of my daughter's classes each year have been over the district class size target of 25. If I look at the class size and enrollment report published in March of 2025 and jump ahead to projected school enrollment for the school year 2032-2033, Zionsville West is projected to see a percentage enrollment change of between +23 and +27%. While growth is a natural part of a community's evolution, responsible growth requires that our infrastructure keep pace with our development. Our public school system is one of the most precious resources that we have here in Zionsville. Right now, I believe our school system struggles to absorb the influx of students that developments like the one we are discussing tonight bring. And we have not yet begun to see the full impact that developments currently being built will have on our schools. I love our community, and I want to be able to welcome new people to it just as I myself felt welcome when I moved here 14 years ago. I am not against development, but I am against building in an area not zoned for this type of build. Responsible zoning and building choices exist not only to guide the changes of a community, but to protect what makes our community special and desirable, including our fantastic public school system. I urge you to consider the wishes of homeowners and neighbors with a vested interest in this community over the plans of developers and builders. We do not want this here. Any consideration to significantly increase population density in this area should meet a higher standard than what is currently being proposed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marissa.
Matt Cornicione.
Kudos, you did better than Greg did on my last name, and he's known me longer.
Had a friend with that last name.
Hey, there you go. It's probably relative. Matt Cornicione, 8607 East 300 South. Counselors, I'm here tonight to voice my extreme frustration, not only with this proposed development, but the lack of response and communication we have received as a community of neighbors to a very important issue we've been raising since the inception of this project in the fall of 2025. Specifically, we've raised the issue that the comp plan used by the Planning Commission to recommend this project is the incorrect one. The 2009 Boone County Comp Plan is the appropriate plan, not the 2003 Zionsville Comp Plan. The Boone County Comp Plan calls for low-density housing of less than 1 home per acre. We've raised this issue to the Planning Commission 3 different times, never received a response, and now we've raised it to this council multiple times and have still not received a response. I urge the council to remedy this situation and state unequivocally that the favorable Planning Commission recommendation was based on incorrect guidelines. I also want to relay to you my interactions with Mayor Stair. While on the campaign trail in 2023, he came to my house and asked about our family's questions and concerns. I told him our family's biggest concern was preserving the rural character of Zionsville and protecting the farmland around us from high-density housing. He agreed that maintaining a balance between growth and preservation was essential to Zionsville's future and was what he was fighting for, and one of the primary reasons he is running for mayor. I was thoroughly impressed that roughly 7 days after our meeting, I received a handwritten thank you note in the mail that recounted our conversation, and he reiterated his commitment to rural Zionsville. I was even more impressed by the fact that he mentioned my then 4-year-old daughter by name in his thank you card and promised to protect her future as well. My wife and I both voted for Mayor Stair because we believed what he said and thought he had our best interests at heart. Imagine that. On his biography on the town's website, he states, and I quote, "He's for maintaining our quality of life, preserving our historic areas from the iconic Brick Main Street business district to the proud rural heritage of our friends and neighbors in both the North and West Zionsville, the former Union and Perry townships." Ironically, that's exactly where we're located. Mayor Stair, if for some reason this council ignores the wishes of the community and votes in favor of this rezone request, I ask that you at least honor your commitments that you made to me and my family and the rest of the citizens of Zionsville to preserve our proud rural way of life and veto this request. Thank you again for your time and consideration. And please honor the wishes of the community and vote no to this rezone request.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, next is Kyle Schmidt.
Hi, I'm Kyle Schmidt. I live at 8370 East 300 South. As a veterinarian, when we moved to our home, we were thrilled to be backed up to woods and gaze out across an open field so we could soak in the wildlife. Since moving in, we have done everything in our power to live in harmony with this nature. We put an owl box up in our woods. We don't spray chemicals on our lawn to protect the amphibians and insects that live and cross through our properties. And we don't leave outdoor lights on after dark to allow nocturnal and crepuscular species to live undisturbed. We do this, and many in our community do similarly. Our lot sizes create space for wildlife to thrive and move through at their own comfort level in a way that less than a quarter-acre lots simply cannot. In the area around 300 South, these are our neighbors too. And I don't see any consideration for this in the plan proposed. In Pulte's presentation, they will try and sell you on the value of their project. This will come as tax dollars, impact fees, and such, but what their PowerPoint won't tell you is what unique value exists here already. This value doesn't come in the form of taxpayers or constituents. This value comes in rich biodiversities and unique species and encounters, and the smile of my 2-year-old son watching a red-eared green slider. Box turtles, rough green snakes, bald eagles, and blue heron all live and range on this land. Their daily commute from the wetlands on my land to the woods in the middle of the field, or the grassy areas on the Cornashione's lands, or down to the Engeldows in the southeast corner, all take them through this land, which serves as a byway, resting place, and foraging for them. And beyond the locals, migratory sandhill cranes, little brown bats, and more are literally frequent flyers. This field accommodates thousands of insects. We live in an ecosystem. What happens on this land affects our land too. development will irreparably damage this level of the local food chain. And without insects, larger species in the food chain aren't supported, and they will simply die or move away. And that steals a little bit of uniqueness from our town, doesn't it? As a veterinarian, one of the hardest aspects of my job is advocating for an animal that does not have a voice. Sometimes I have quality of life assessment appointments. In these appointments, we consider a pet, the effects of chronic disease, response to medication, decline over time, and pain, just to name a few. There are some of the most difficult discussions to navigate. Is it really time to put an old friend down? This is the state of our land and our field, of our home, and the home of so much more than humans. This is how it thrives despite farm chemicals. It has the long-standing help of a community that feeds the birds, that leaves tall grasses and leaf litter to support vital habitats, and so much more. I turn the question to you, counselors. What is your quality of life assessment? Is it time to put this land and habitat down? As a veterinarian, this looks like quality to me. This looks like uniqueness. And that is my professional opinion. I ask that you vote no to the rezone.
Sarah Melton.
Our family moved to Zionsville in 1960. My grandson, who was born today,
Sarah, can you real quick just say your name and address for the
Sarah
record?
Melton, 3135 South, 875 East.
Okay, thank you.
My grandson, who was born this morning, makes the 4th generation of our family on this farm. It grieves me deeply to see all of the residential homes taking up at the farm and taking up the woods and the meadows. I know that progress has to come, and we have to bear that. But I would be so grateful if some initiatives were implemented to reduce the light contamination so we could enjoy the stars. I used to be able to actually see the aurora borealis from my door. Now you can't even see the Milky Way without driving 20 miles north of here. And I would ask the council also to remember the importance, as the veterinarian was saying, of the ecosystem. We've always practiced organic farming on our land, and it is something that if we don't start now, our children are not going to have the opportunity to enjoy nature. I was a Girl Scout for 10 years, loved nature, love Zionsville, and I just ask you to make the responsible decisions to preserve the character of our home. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Carol Schmidt.
My name's Carol Schmidt. My address is 19505 Wagon Trail Drive in Noblesville. You probably ask why I'm here tonight. You might think I have no pony in the race, but my ponies are right out there. I've been coming to Zionsville since I was a child. I'm a 6th generation farmer and a CPA, and I love the farm. At some point, we're going to be out of farmland. I have heard city commissioners and county councilmen say in the past that farming doesn't belong in this area, but it does. Every field taken out of production cannot be replaced. Every field taken out of production makes a difference on our ability to farm. And this is really important to me, and it's important to my kids. Again, a 6th generation farmer. I came over here to Zionsville as a child visiting farmer friends. And what a change this is when my kids moved over here 5 years ago into a 50-year-old house and seeing the change. It's really stark. And my reading of the comprehensive plan, this Pulte development is not consistent with what was written in that plan. I don't understand what the desire is to do that, to take the rural nature out of this and to destroy that area along 300 South and the other side of it. I think that's 800 or something like that. But I just ask you to think before you totally remove every last field. At what point is enough enough? Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol. Dawn Ayers.
Dawn Ayers, 1575 South 900 East. I've lived in Zionsville almost 30 years on 6 acres on 900 East, just north of 200 South. I am baffled by this council's constant approval of more and more development in Zionsville. We are rapidly becoming Indianapolis North, rather than the charming rural town the residents of this area love. The unique character of our town has and is being destroyed by this untethered, rampant development. Our property values will decline, our crime rates will accelerate, dense traffic in an area designed for a meandering, pleasant drive has become a dangerous place for children to walk and bike. Rural water supplies, wells, and sewage are threatened. With this extreme rate of growth, we cannot scale up infrastructure fast enough to keep up, and hence, we outpace our school capacities, our police, our EMS, our fire departments, and municipal budgets. Meanwhile, our property values, quality of life, and peaceful, tranquil existence evaporates. We who choose to live in rural America do so because we love to be able to see the stars, hear the birds sing, watch the wildlife, walk or bike the roads without being run over, and appreciate our top-notch schools, fire and police departments, and local shops. You all were elected by we the people to serve we the people of Zionsville, not to pander to and serve rich developers. What motivates this council to approve all of this dense development, I wonder? We, the people of this town, elected you to do our bidding, but I fear other motivators are at play. And as so often happens, rich outsiders have swayed your judgment rather than you holding true to your elected purpose of reflecting and upholding the vast majority of we, the people's wishes and interests. You are here and hired to serve this community, not wealthy developers. We've lost control of this town and are on a horrible trajectory to lose all that is great about this town. This needs to stop. I respectfully ask that this council just say no to more development.
Excellent.
On, and last up is Dan Smith.
My name is Dan Smith, 8245 East, 300 South, Zionsville. I'm here concerning our family's farm on 300 South, and I respectfully ask for your approval. I represent the 6th generation of my family to farm in Boone County. I've lived here my entire life. My family's farming roots in this area date back into the 1850s. We have owned and farmed this particular property for 76 years. My stepmother still resides in the original farmhouse. Myself and my 3 siblings are all high school graduates of Zionsville, and over the course of our lives, we have witnessed remarkable change in Zionsville, not only within the village, but throughout the surrounding countryside. There is a certain part of me that wishes it could remain the quiet rural landscape I remember as in my youth. But at the same time, I recognize the growth of Zionsville, Whitestown, Boone County, and central Indiana. It's both real and ongoing. As I approach retirement, my focus has shifted to the future, particularly to my children, and especially my son Alex, who now represents the 7th generation of our family's farming tradition. With that in mind, I've had to take a hard and honest look at this property. Farming this land has already become increasingly difficult. The surrounding roadways now carry traffic volumes that make moving large equipment both challenging and at times unsafe. What was once a rural setting, has steadily transitioned into a residential environment where the realities of modern farming, equipment movement, noise, dust are less compatible with neighboring uses. More broadly, this property now sits within an area that has been thoughtfully planned for residential growth, including parks and preserved green spaces.
Dan, 1 minute, please. Go ahead.
While I understand and respect the desire to retain the farmland, I believe it is also very important to recognize when a particular parcel is no longer well-suited for continued agricultural use within evolving surroundings. I believe the time is right for this land to transition. I do not make this request lightly, and it reflects appreciation for what the land has been and a thoughtful consideration of what it can become. I respectfully ask for your support of this development, and I certainly thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. So that's all we had on request to speak. Next on the agenda is old business. And we have a consideration of an ordinance amending the Town of Zionsville zoning ordinance petition 2025-75-Z. This is the Pulte, Smith, Monsory, Bradbury, and that's ordinance 2026-12. To walk us through that and help present, Mike Dale, Director of Planning and Building for the town, and Rex Ramage, Vice President, Land Planning and Entitlement at Pulte. Mike?
Good evening. Pulte Homes of Indiana, LLC is here this evening to request a rezone of approximately 140 acres from the town's residential R1 zoning district to its R2 zoning district. So this is what we call a straight rezoning. This does not involve the PUD, but involves a rezoning from R1 to R2 and in keeping with the development standards of the town zoning ordinance. The site is located at the southeast corner of County Roads 300 South and 800 East in Eagle Township. On April 21st, 2026, the Zionsville Plan Commission, by a vote of 4 in favor and 3 opposed, forwarded a favorable recommendation to the Town Council regarding this petition, subject to the following conditions. 1, that voluntary commitments made by the petitioner be recorded. 2, that road improvements are made as referenced in the traffic impact study for this project, and that any change to the perimeter buffer yards would return to the Plan Commission for approval, and that all lots visible from County Road 300 South will have an enhanced architecture along the rear of the homes. Staff notes that the staff report for this project incorrectly refers to a land use density of less than 1 and up to 2 dwelling units per acre, as provided in the text of the Zionsville Comprehensive Plan. Rather, the correct citation should be, quote, less than 1 dwelling unit per acre, end quote, as provided in the text of the Boone County Comprehensive Plan and as adopted by the town of Zionsville. That's the extent of my comments at this point. I'll defer to you and to the developer.
And Mike, just real quick, just to clarify, I know you kind of went through that, but yeah, that last part. So
go over that one more time.
The Boone County plan, less than 1 per acre, 1
right.
unit per acre, but the previous plan you said was, it sounded pretty broad, less than 1, but up to 2.
Right. The Zionsville Comprehensive Plan designates this area for low-density residential and describes that as being less than 1 and up to 2 dwelling units per acre. It is oddly phrased, but that is what it says. At the time of reorganization, the town adopted the Boone County Comprehensive Plan for the rural area, in which case the text for the Boone County Comprehensive Plan refers to the area, an area density of less than 1 dwelling unit per acre.
You'll have additional questions for Mr. Dale? Oh, sorry, you won't be able to speak out.
Yeah, please don't speak out from the crowd. Thank you.
Any further questions for Mike before we ask Rex to come up to the microphone?
No, probably have more later, though.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good evening. I know you're expecting Rex. I'll be extremely brief. My name is Tim Oakes. I'm an attorney at Ice Miller representing Pulte Homes of Indiana. And I do want to address the last comment made by staff. First, we do appreciate the time and the effort the staff has dedicated to reviewing the proposed project and providing its recommendation. But I want to be clear what Indiana law says. Indiana Code 3674603 says that.
Slow down.
Yep.
Say that one more time.
36-7-4-603.
Thank you.
Yep. Says that the Plan Commission and the Town Council give reasonable regard to the following 5 factors when considering a rezoning request. I'm sure you've all heard the 5 before. The comprehensive plan, current conditions, and the character of current structures and uses in each district, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction, and responsible growth and development. Now, we have the benefit of having Indiana Appellate and even the Indiana Supreme Court consider what that actually means, and I'll share that with you very briefly. So, Indiana courts have consistently held that rezoning decisions are not invalid merely because evidence is not presented on each of those 5 factors. And in fact, the legislative body, as you know, is not required to make explicit findings with respect to each factor. Instead, it's a balancing act. All factors are considered, and the council gets to make a determination. What the comp plan says or doesn't say is not a switch. If it's one way, it's a no. If it's another way, it's a yes. That's not how it works. As a matter of fact, that would be deemed illegal. There's a case, the City of Madison versus Demery. The council considered 9 different factors, many of which you've heard people argue about already. The court upheld their decision, even though it was not necessarily consistent with the comprehensive plan. More importantly, there's a case out there, Borsuk v. Town of St. John, which was heard by the Indiana Supreme Court. And in that case, the town council made a decision on a rezoning that was specifically exactly contrary to what their comp plan called for. And a suit followed, went all the way up to the Indiana Supreme Court, and the Indiana Supreme Court held that the comprehensive plan is an important ground, but not the sole ground on which the Indiana Code says such decisions, in this case a rezoning, should be made. Quote, a municipality must consider all factors and make a balanced determination. That is what Pulte is asking this council to do, which is to follow the law. While staff contends that there was an error made to the density listed in the comp plan, and we think, frankly, the ensuing confusion has been unfortunate, in the big picture, it makes no difference. Again, it's not a switch. If the recommendation of the Plan Commission is right or it's wrong based on that one small factor. Even if the comp plan from the county applies, it's 15 years old or older and was formulated by the county when Zionsville was a substantially different community and when this area itself, as you've heard, was substantially different. The weight to be afforded a comprehensive plan should consider the age and continued relevance of that plan. This and all relevant factors should be considered. Again, that is the law. The record from the April 21st, 2026 Plan Commission meeting includes a substantial amount of evidence related to all 5 factors, including, as you've heard already, assertions about the density that ought to apply. The entirety of the evidence must be considered and weighed, which is what the Plan Commission did and what the council is obligated to do. So with that, I'll call Rex Ramage of Pulte up to walk you through what the balance of those factors are, which suggests that it is appropriate and legal to rezone this property.
If I could real quickly, I'm not questioning the legality of anything or whether or not we're looking at enough factors. I think the concern from a lot of the people sitting out there is that a decision was made by our Planning Commission with erroneous information guiding that decision. So to your point, you can request a rezone regardless of what the comp plan says, right? So, and we will consider that. But I do think it's important to just point that out, that the reason they brought it up was that a decision has been made to send us a favorable recommendation that was based on information that may not have been what they should be, or it was not what they should have been looking at. So I just want to put that on the record, but I do appreciate your comments.
Mr. Chair, I just want to let you know that Dan Taylor, the attorney representing the Plan Commission, is also here to respond to any legal questions you may have.
Great, thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Dan.
Rex, before if we have some questions of Mike, should we ask them now, or go ahead and let Rex chat and then kind of come back to some questions?
Okay.
Mike, just to be really some clarification, because this seems like a real complex scenario. So to Councilor McElderry's point, it sounds like there was some admittance on your end as you opened up that perhaps we were looking at a Zionsville plan when the Plan Commission and the staff report should have looked at the Boone County Comprehensive Plan. Is that correct?
Yes. Both plans recommend, both the Zionsville Comprehensive Plan and Boone County Comprehensive Plan recommend low-density residential. They're just defined or described differently.
Yeah, so my question would be, your staff report then to the Plan Commission was favorable.
Yes.
And do you believe that by using the Boone County plan as opposed to the Zionsville plan, that would have changed your opinion or your recommendation on the staff report?
I think your question requires a lot of speculation, because if staff had discovered this error, it would have resulted in staff reaching out to the developer and informing them of this error. And my experience is that often the developer will, in an attempt to try to get staff support, amend the proposal. So it's perhaps probable that the Plan Commission wouldn't have even seen the same project. And then in this case, don't know which way the Plan Commission would have voted.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions for Mr. Dale? Sorry, go ahead, Rex.
Hello, Rex Ramage, Pulte Homes, 11595 North Meridian Street. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. As you heard, we had Tim Oakes from Ice Miller. We also have Steve Farabach from A&F Engineering, should there be any questions related to traffic that I'm unable to answer. And then we have a lot of Pulte team members here, headlined by Scott Marin, Zionsville resident, also the division president of Pulte here in Indianapolis. So at this point, the first part of this will kind of speed through. We are all generally familiar with the site, located south of 300 between 800 and 875, as shown on the screen here. So this is a really important slide, and with the discussion surrounding the comprehensive plan, I think it is most important to point out that this real estate is zoned R1 today. And what that means is that this property could be platted without the consultation or approval of the town council for up to 161 homes. There's 161 acres in total, and then so there could be 161 home sites on this real estate entirely. So the question really isn't whether we want to have some number between 0 and 140, as I believe there's some misinformation out there. It's not that or 199. Really the difference is between 161 or the 199 with the commitments that we've made on the project that enhances or elevates what the town of Zionsville standards either don't require or are very low as far as the requirement goes. So this is very important. The other part of this image here, we are flanked east and west by R2, which would allow for more density. And so we're in a very unique pocket that didn't absorb that R2 zoning. And so we believe the request does fit in line with that. And then I know we've talked a lot about our neighboring communities and what they're doing and what they've done, both from an infrastructure perspective related to the extensions east and west along 300. But also I think it's important to note that west of that white dotted line is the town limits of Zionsville, and there is a higher density adjacent developments all the way up to that line. So we feel that this is an appropriate project for all the merits that we're going to walk through, but in addition, just wanted to provide the full scope of what the basis is for the request here tonight. So this is the revised concept plan. This is 199 units. For those that may not know, the top left image is the original proposal. It was 269 lots. That was the full 161 acres of the real estate. As we navigated through the Plan Commission process, there was a discussion about having a school component on about 21 and a half acres that is on the south side of 300, east of the main entrance there that comes off of 300. So that real estate has been removed from the zoning petition itself. So now we are down to about 141 acres. The Plan Commission did make a recommendation on 209 lots. There were subsequent conversations with various council members, and there was a desire to see that number being shrunk down from the 209. And so part of the changes that have occurred between Plan Commission and tonight, one of which is the reduction in lot count from 209 to the 199. So again, the larger image on the right-hand side of the page is the current concept plan and reflects everything that we're proposing here this evening. In addition to the reduction of the lot count, there were some additional items related to just globally architectural items. Things like masonry being on all four sides of the home, making sure there are enhancements on the empty nester homes as well. We didn't want monotonous homes. We didn't want the same home, the same elevation to pop up on the same streetscape for 6, 7, 8 houses in a row. So we made some enhancements there, a lot of which were related to masonry. One council member had requested specific attention be paid to the rears of the homes. And so what we did was, before, if you all recall, there was an exhibit that had a bunch of different colored dots on it and what that would or would not require based on the lot and what exposure it had, either from a high visibility side or high visibility rear. We kind of just said, look, we'll take masonry on all four sides of the home, and then a minimum of 50% of the homes within the overall community will incorporate some sort of rear facade, whether that be a sunroom, a covered patio, those types of things, any type of bump out to make sure that it has rear articulation. We didn't really discuss this because the majority of the homes, all the two-story homes within the development are going to be side loaded. So there was not really a focus until later on about the garage doors. There was a desire to have those garage doors being more decorative in nature, including hardware and windows. So we've added that to the commitments as well, post-Plan Commission. And then the last item there, almost all these homes, if not all, at least to the 2 stories, will have basements. And so there was a request from one council member to have a little bit more of an enhanced or elevated window well. The standard or basic window well was not desirable. And so we figured out a couple different options to have a more decorative looking window well, whether that be 4x4 timber or kind of a stamped masonry type of look to elevate, again, just another architectural component of the overall project. So a few changes from Plan Commission to now. Density has been a very large topic of conversation throughout the entire development. Excuse me, on the screen you have a realm of projects within the town. Bradbury is a density of 1.42, which is on the lower end of density ranges for a lot of projects, notable projects, if you will. Rockbridge, Cobblestone, Chelsea Park, Maple Club. There are a few that are less than 1 to the acre, and I would just call attention to those projects that are less than 1 to the acre are golf course communities, where they are utilizing the golf course holes to calculate their density. So it's kind of a skewed perception, but overall, I think a 1.42 density is it's trending in the right direction when folks would like to stick to more of the rural heritage of Zionsville. A few of the things, just to kind of call them out, site plan changes that were made through the project. There was a very strong desire to have homes set back from the perimeter of the real estate on every side. A lot of attention was paid to the 300 frontage. We do know that 300 is likely going to get improved at some point. It's going to be widened. The county is asking us to dedicate 90 feet of half right-of-way. So we know that those road improvements are coming at some point. And so specific attention was paid to the landscaping and the setbacks. We'll dive into those here a little bit further. The school site, which was specifically requested to remove that acreage from the rezoning request, so we went ahead and did that. And then the 875 entrance also, we had a few neighbors here speak tonight that were much closer to that entrance, and they had a desire to see it, again, further setback, higher landscaping, and just more of an elevated design to make it feel more rural. So I know this isn't the comprehensive plan that we need to be talking about, but it was part of the evolution of the site plan and the project was not only reducing the density, but where we were actually reducing it. There was a large focus through the comprehensive plan process to have more of an estate residential, or what I'll call the brown area. and that was more at the northern end of the project. That shape has changed over time. This does not reflect the latest shape. But what we're trying to demonstrate here is that we did have lots that were closer up to 300. We thought that that might be a more appropriate place to put them given the nature of what 300 and the cross-section will look like into the future. Be a more highly trafficked road, therefore we could put more houses up in that particular area. And that was not desired. So as the concept plan evolved, we continued to take lots away from County Road 300. And just to give you an example, there were about 11 lots in that red or that orange box on the top left. And then as we continued to take a look at what that prescribed density that I believe ultimately got removed from the comprehensive plan, the prescribed density of those land use types, at one point it was, just under 6 units to the acre. So we did the math and we just said, look, that area, 0.33 units to the acre, which equated to about 6 lots up in that area. So what we showed you is now there are 6 lots in the green box in trying to keep with the comprehensive plan as it evolves.
Hey, Rex, just real quick, I know we can go back to questions, but since that map is up, so, again, I thank you for referencing that this is the newest comp plan that just passed last month, so it doesn't apply, although you were trying to track with where the vision of the new comp plan was. How many homes, so if and again, I don't have the comp plan in front of me, but is the line that you have on here, that yellow line with the green around on the current proposal, is that where the line would be that called for residential above that line, or is it further south than there?
My understanding is that that line ended up a little further south than what this graphic actually shows.
Okay.
I would defer to you guys. I think that was Councilor McAdary's request.
But your point was when you said there were 6 homes in that space, yet that's not what you were suggesting.
No, well, in the green area, there are only 6 houses in the green.
Yes.
Green square.
But that's not the same latitude line as the comp plan for residential, for estate residential.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
This was made post-Plan Commission, and the most current version of the comprehensive plan that has been navigating throughout your all's process
Yes,
has
for
evolved since this version had been created.
Yes, just, I was just making sure that I didn't miss something. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Keep going.
Absolutely. So as far as the rural character, we heard a lot about that from our adjacent neighbors tonight and totally want to respect that. We want to respect the rural heritage of Zionsville. And so what we did is we took a look at the stretch of 300 that was kind of applicable to our project. And what we did is we measured from the edge of pavement to various homes that were along this stretch of 300. You can see on the far left, you have a home that sits back 117 feet. On the north side, 123 feet, 141 feet. And then you have a few houses that are now 200, 300, 400 feet setback from County Road 300. So we said, okay, we understand. Well, that's at least the benchmark, right? So as you now navigate to the south side of the street, we have the closest lot line, not the closest house, the closest lot line to 300 would be almost 400 feet, 392 and plus feet away. And then as you come in off of our main entrance, because you see all the trees and the landscaping, you're not likely going to see any of those homes that are only 392 to 475 feet away. You just won't see them with the site angle having a mound plus trees. What you could potentially see, and why we showed you this graphic, is if you're looking down the street as you're passing by 300, you're looking down the main entrance, you'll be looking towards our model park. The rear lot line of the closest home to 300 at that point is just shy of 580 feet away. So when we put that into perspective, that's almost 2 full football fields away. And so we really were intentional about the changes that we made to this project throughout the process in trying to keep with Zionsville. We understand that it's rural. We understand people want to keep that. We're trying to achieve that in the best way possible. Zionsville is unique. We understand that. And there are some things about this project that we wouldn't do anywhere else. And that's kind of why we're here talking about it. So looking at the 800 and 875 entrances as well, 800's on the left, you're about 75 feet away from the new pavement, as we would have to widen that with our A-cell, D-cell lanes. And then on 875, which is the graphic on the right-hand side of the page, one neighbor spoke, and his house is there on the left side, 179 feet away approximately from 800 or County Road 875. And so what we did throughout the process is we removed a couple lots that were flanking that entrance that were closest to 875. We removed a lot north and south. That allowed us to put more berming, more landscaping. You see all those various colors of greens and purples those are all trees and shrubs of all various types. Heavy, heavy, heavy landscaping was put into this whole project. So we wanted to at least be set back equal or better than our adjacent homeowners. So we believe we hit the mark there as well, if we deem that rural Zionsville. And then as just an overall, we wanted to take a look at some other projects that were along the 421 and County Road 300 corridors, just again, to view the setbacks of lot lines to the adjacent roadways. So Holiday Farms, Brookhaven, Willow Glen, the Willows, we have setbacks and buffers of those pieces of real estate that are far inferior to the plan that we have before you tonight. Not saying the projects themselves are not great in quality, just trying to put in perspective, because those are projects that we all drive by every day, and understand how close or how far away they are from the road, just putting them into perspective in comparison to our project. One of the things that I mentioned, and this again is not required by the town of Zionsville UDO. So if there was a way in which we move forward and the rezoning does not occur, this would not be something that would follow in the future. A perimeter buffer plan. Right now, we're going to walk through it segment by segment. Right now, what we are doing is we are proposing buffering and landscaping with mounding and trees and shrubs. That would be the equivalent or greater of us proposing a car wash next to R1 residentially zoned ground. So if we were the most intense use, that's what we based our landscaping package off of, and we'll walk through that here real quick. So this is the stretch. The bottom image shows you a plan view of the buffer that is along 300 South west of our entrance. So up in that northwest corner again, we were talking about those lots. So the long and short of it is the required landscape buffer per the ordinance would be 30 feet wide, and it would have approximately 9 trees. We're proposing something that's 50 feet wide, has a 4 to 6 foot undulating mound, so it's not just a flat wall, a nice rolling mound, and then it has 27, 54 plus another 69. I'm not that good at math on the fly, but a substantial amount of landscaping that will be put on those mounds. And quite frankly, the red box will show you we have 69 evergreens. That's more than the 0 evergreens that are required on, for that total stretch. And then you have an additional 13 more. So we're talking 80 plus trees additional just in this stretch of the landscaping and mounding. So we've paid very close attention to the landscaping as it would affect all of our neighbors in all directions. This is the County Road 800 frontage. This would be on our western side. Mr. Baker stood up, and his residence and his properties just kind of across the street from this particular area. Again, call your attention to that red box. Required 30-foot buffer width, proposed 40-foot buffer width, and we have 73 plus another 30, call it 100 plus another 15, over about 115 extra trees just along that stretch. You can see the image on the paper how densely populated all the vegetation, and that's not just shrubs, that's trees of all different types and species to provide for screening all 4 seasons. Again, 875, same story. We have mounding out there, and the green box, or I'm sorry, the green shade in the red box shows you the required versus the proposed landscaping. Again, a substantial amount of trees. And this was intentional. We worked through the process, through the Plan Commission process, to make sure that we were paying attention to these types of buffering and screening items. So this is Mr. Cornicioni's house, who's on the image there in the bottom left. We did try to do our best to buffer and screen Mr. Cornicioni and Mr. McDaniel. He's actually just to the east off the image there. They have a 4 to 6 foot, no, I'm sorry, this is a 7-foot mound that's between our lots and our northern property line that we share with our adjacent neighbors. So we have a very tall mound. We have lots of landscaping and shrubbery. You're talking about 2, 4, 9. I mean, this is not a very large area to have a substantial amount of trees. The visibility from home to home once this is installed is going to be very minimal, if any. We talked about the architecture a little bit through the process. You all may not have heard about it too much. There are 2 different series of 2-story homes that are all going to be side-loaded homes. We are in process of designing brand new elevations that we will be debuting here in Zionsville that we are not building anywhere else. That's going to be new elevation styles from an architectural style perspective, and then also new elevations of the other, call them craftsman, prairie, other types of architectural styles that we offer, new elevations that haven't been, sold anywhere else. So we again understand that Zionsville is unique, and we wanted to make sure that we shared that in our presentation. Another series of the side-loaded homes. Those side-loaded homes can have a third-car garage that would be front-loaded, and we navigated that through the Plan Commission as well. Garage size was something that we had to commit to along the way, and we're happy to do it. And then there will be a small section of empty nester homes. This is the highest level of empty nester homes that Pulte offers here in the Indianapolis market. We envision these homes, they're going to be anywhere from 22 to 2,700 square feet, and they're going to push, $750,000 plus when it's all said and done.
Hey, Rex, sorry to interrupt, but what is the average actual lot size of the 85-foot frontages and the 70-foot frontages? What are the actual lot sizes themselves?
I didn't do a weighted average.
Yeah, I mean, give me a ballpark.
Yeah, so I'll just give everybody a visual while we're talking. So these lots are going to be 85 feet wide by approximately 130, 140 feet deep. So 10,000 square feet plus or minus. And then the other lots would be 70 feet wide by 130, 140. I think that's around 9,100 on the low end there. So let's call it somewhere in the high nines, approximately on an average 10,000 square feet lot size.
Thank you.
While we're on the topic, the current R1 zoning, should that be a place we navigate to in the future, R1 requires 5,000 square foot lots. So more than double, or approximately double, of what the town's current standard would be for this real estate.
So that doesn't make sense to me. So R1, which is one house per acre or more,
Yep.
only needs a 5,000-foot.
Yes, sir. When you're on,
Are we getting into that?
when you're on
net
utilities,
Net versus gross
Yeah, net
density.
versus gross, okay. So you could have lots and lots of green space and tiny little houses, or tiny
Sure.
little lots?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Just a few more things here. Architectural enhancements, we alluded to this kind of in the text version of some of the changes that have been made. This is just an updated map that is attached to the zoning commitments that were made. And what it is if you remember that 50% of the rear facades had to be enhanced, it is a minimum, or it's a minimum of 50%, which shall include these red dot lots. So what we did is, as we navigated the Plan Commission, there were some homes that we decided were high visibility. And so what we did is we captured all those to reflect, to be included in that minimum 50% of the rear architecture of the enhancements. We did have one neighbor talk about lighting, so thanks for the softball there. Through the process, we did talk about lighting a lot, especially with our neighbors and with the town staff. We have committed, it's written in our commitments, that we will use dark sky lighting. So there are a few folks that will be very interested in that. And that's not only on street lights, but that's on the coach lights of the homes themselves. So where we would otherwise have coach lights that would emit light further out, we are going to be using specific coach lights to mitigate light pollution. Open space and trails, again, we have 100, this petition is going to include about 140 acres, mind it, because that does not include the school acreage at this point. So of the 140 acres, we have about 60 acres of open space. It's about 43% of the total site. Just under 2 miles of trails within the community. So we have a lot of trails along the perimeter, and then trails internal that all lead to a central location. And then the next few slides are more financial in nature. So as we continue to go through the statutory factors that were going to be evaluated when doing a rezoning, wanted to touch on a few things. The project will positively contribute to the town's assessed value. You can either look at the blue bar or the blue dot. One is gross assessed value as a whole, and one is assessed value per acre. So this piece of real estate, the 161 acres, has an assessed value, gross assessed value of about $670,000. Post-development, it'll be over $141 million of gross assessed value. And then on a per acre basis, over $1 million post-development. Now let's compare that to the rest of our notice area, the 660 feet, 2 properties deep, except for this acreage. Only about $36 million of gross value, gross assessed value, excuse me, And then that 1 million per acre comes down to about $167,000 of AV per acre. Now, what does that mean? Why is it relevant? It comes back to taxes that are being paid. I want to call your attention to the second bar in each of these three areas, which is more of the darker blue, purplish color. This is gross tax revenue. So the property as it exists today, about $3,000 a year. That's to the town. Post-development, $163,000 a year to the town. That does not take into account what's paid to the county, what's paid to the school. You see those really tall green bars. That's tax dollars being generated for the schools, which we all want to love and support, and then the libraries there as well. But you can just see that the development of this property is of significant impact on multiple levels. You want to take that on a per acre basis. Right now, this piece of real estate paying the town $19 per acre on an annual basis. We could get that up to over $1,100 an acre when it's all said and done, compared to the $500 an acre that the rest of the notice list would pay. Should the town decide to institute an income tax, we wanted to calculate that as well. So there's a house on the real estate today. We just took some basic projections that said that that could potentially, generate about $11,000. Post-development, the town could see over $365,000 a year on a conservative basis on income taxes that could be captured by the town for whatever projects that you see fit. Compare that to the $88,000 a year for the rest of the notice list. So I don't want to bore you with numbers. I'm just trying to demonstrate the impacts of this project and what it could do for the town. Overall fees being paid to the town, parks, roads, sewers, over $1.7 million. There has been a lot of discussion about County Road 300. We did do a traffic study. That traffic consultant is actually the town's traffic consultant as well. So there was a lot of information that was readily available, and knowing what the town's wants and desires are. The town has a zone improvement plan that was passed in 2023, and that did include the intersection of 875 and 300. So what we've said in the conversations with the town are as follows. The $522,000 in road impact fees can be set aside by the town, and we've had conversations with Lance about this, that bucket of money could be set aside and then pledged toward the future roundabout that would be needed in a future time, not today, it's not warranted today, to build a roundabout at 875 and 300. Pulte's not a party to that agreement. It would just have to be an interlocal agreement between town and county. We've spoken to both agencies, and they've both signaled yes. So that would just be something that, should we move forward with this, if that's something that the town would like to do, we just got to do some paperwork there. So a quick summary of the commitments. Max lot count 199. It evolved down from 269 at the beginning of the proposal. We're going to do our fair share of entryway improvements, road improvements along our frontage. And then, of course, we're going to dedicate the impact fees to the town that the town can use to make additional road improvements specifically at the intersection. We're going to dedicate over 90 feet of half right-of-way on 300. There's substantial landscaping requirements, as we already walked through, and then substantial architectural requirements and commitments that we've made as well. The last item, dark sky lighting. So I won't go through all the all the 5 statutory factors. This is the comprehensive plan, comparing the character and structure of uses of adjacent properties. The median square footage of a house without a basement is 2,000. Our minimum is going to be 2,200 on ranches and about 2,600 or so on a 2-story. The most desirable use for which the land is adapted. So the piece of real estate is already zoned R1. We're not trying to convert ag zoning to residential zoning. It was always contemplated for this to be developed residentially, so we're continuing to do so. One item that we wanted to point out was on the right-hand side of this page. As the town was going through its comprehensive plan navigation in that area that we talked about before, the estate residential area, that brown area, we actually went to the county. We said, hey, the town's going down a path where they want estate residential. They want large lots on the south side of 300. Can we do it? And they very clearly said, no, we will not be granting individual driveway permits for large estate lots on the south side of County Road 300. That means that they want a concentrated single entrance, which is exactly what the plan that we've put forward. So we tried. And this is the plan that we need to be able to move forward with. Conservation of property values. So we've taken the same series of homes, because we're not building them in Zionsville today, building a lot of them in Westfield, and we've taken the price delta, the premium that comes with living in Zionsville, and we've projected that out over the life of this project. We believe these homes, the top end of all these homes, could be between $1.2 and $1.4 million. Where that is, in our entire notice list that we talked about earlier, there's only 5 pieces of real estate that are assessed at that $1.4 million or higher. The median is $443,000, and the average of the rest of the notice area is $665,000. Why is that relevant? We believe that our homes are going to average at minimum above $750,000, definitely squeaking north of $1 million when it's all said and done. Responsible growth and development. With development becomes the extension of utilities. It's just something that we have to do to be able to comply and develop our project. Reason why we think that's relevant is because we did some digging, we did some data, and in the watersheds around this area, years ago, there were traces and findings of E. coli in the watersheds. With large lots and estate lots come septic tanks. Those septic tanks only last for so long, and at a certain point, you either have to replace it or commission it, whatever you have to do. But at a certain point, there may be houses in this area that need to be connected to sanitary sewer, or they won't be able to live in their homes. That's just a fact. So our project, we will bring utilities to the area to benefit us, and then should anybody else in a nearby area need it, they will be available to them. Not required to connect today, just be available. We're paying all the impact fees and its fair share of offsetting other development costs. And then, we believe we're being very responsive and responsible to the landscaping and buffering that we've already talked about here. I think I've hit on all these. I don't need to go ahead and read through them all. Just want to make sure that the conversation starts with, this is a zoned piece of real estate for up to 1 unit to the acre. So this real estate could have 161 units on it. We fully believe that everything that we've done, the commitments that we've made, architecturally, landscaping and buffering, and everything else, that we warrant the consideration for the additional 38 lots. So I know that was long. I apologize. I wanted to make sure we had all the facts out there. Happy to answer any questions that you all have. Thank you.
Rex, in general, where is the land that would be swapped from the schools in the town?
So the school district currently owns a piece of real estate that's on the west side of Main Street, near Whitestown, further south than the Albert S. White area. It's over by Boone Meadow.
Across from Boone Meadow.
On the west side, yeah. It's the one with the water tower on it, or just south of the water tower.
Oh, yeah. So that is probably not usable to them because there's a school right there already.
Yeah, our understanding and discussions with the school is that they don't have any use for that piece of real estate because they have a school across the street. It is more advantageous for the school to own real estate that's closer into their service area, we'll call it. So this is a unique opportunity for us and a unique opportunity for them to work together to figure out a swap of the real estate. Full transparency, it's not that they have more acreage than we do here. So the swap for us will include less acreage and a financial contribution to the school for us to then obtain slightly more acreage.
Rex, can you clarify if for some reason, is there a contingency that if for some reason this weren't voted up tonight, that would still take place, that land swap?
So that land swap is going to take place provided that we get the approvals to build this project. If we don't get the approvals to build this project, we are not going to then pursue the closing with the current landowner, the Smith family, and then in turn, the land swap with the school would not occur.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. What other questions do y'all have?
Rex, do you have any idea what could be built on 20, was it 21 acres?
The residual?
Yeah. What could the school corporation put on a piece of land that size? Do you know?
I believe they said that it was sized appropriately enough for an elementary school. Obviously, we have Trailside not too far down the road, so they were
They were non-committal at this point on what they were going to build because they did not have an immediate need today. However, they knew that the location of this real estate was much more important for the long term than identifying an individual need and only targeting that one desire.
So Rex, also just to make sure folks in the crowd are tracking with you, because you had mentioned, obviously, this project's 140 acres. If for some reason the school, land swap didn't happen as a result of this, I think it's why you were referencing at the top of your presentation, 161 acres, which means there could be 161 homes built on both parcels combined if in fact this project didn't move forward, which is current zoning. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. And for a visual, it would be everything in the red box on this page, or it would be everything on this page plus, and you can't really see it, everything east of the entryway in that general vicinity. That's where the 21 acres is.
Yes.
I have a few questions. And first of all, just for everyone in the crowd that wasn't doing the math, a 10,000 square foot home site is less than a quarter of an acre. A 9,100 square foot home site is just over a fifth of an acre. So that's what we're talking about here. I just want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to the petitioner. I know you have gone to great lengths to do what you can within your business model to make this work. Thank you to the remonstrators. I know you had to put stickers on signs because we kept continuing things, and everybody's shown a lot of patience to get to where we are right now. So thank you for that. I guess my first question is, give me a compelling reason, other than being able to build more homes, make more money, or have more AV. Give me a compelling reason why we should vote for this rezone when this land has been zoned this way for decades. Why now should it be rezoned to R2?
What I will classify as the minimal increase of home sites that we're seeking approval for versus what it's being zoned for today. That's item number one. And item numbers 2, 3, and 4 are everything that I spoke about of anybody could come in, right? If Pulte walks away, somebody could come in and go build 161 houses today. But it's not just the 161 houses. It's the size of those lots, which is less than what you just implied that I was doing something somewhat bad, right? It's the size of the homes that could be built. It's the quality of the homes that could be built. It's the materials that could be used on those homes. It could be the landscaping, the buffering, all of those other enhancements that we talked about, essentially every commitment that we've made that is on file, all those things go away. And so we truly believe that we've done everything we can to create a great project to balance protecting the rural character and heritage. Look, I understand this is residential development, and most of the folks in the audience and I are never going to agree on that item about a subdivision is not protecting rural. But everything that we did along the perimeters of the real estate, all the attention to detail, everything that we've done throughout the process, I think is definitely a fair and equitable trade-off for those 38 houses.
So I'm going to call you on this, only from the standpoint that Pulte's a pretty successful home builder, right? But you can't make it work within your business model to put 161 homes there. You want to be able to put 199 homes there, thus the rezone. Why else would you be going through all this, right?
Sure.
You're saying that there are other developers out there that you think could make it work for 161 homes on 161 acres, and that they're ready to buy that property if you don't. Is that what you're suggesting?
What I'm saying is every time a builder goes in and tries to rezone or get approval to develop a piece of property, the minute that things are not streamlined toward an approval, everyone's paying attention. The reason why that's important, no difference to anyone else in the room or the company that I'm about to reference, is there was a piece of real estate that was straight zoned and was platted without the approval of the council just south of the airport. And that was by a builder that provides a different level of housing than we would otherwise be proposing on this piece of real estate. And the protection of you're getting what you get is what you see, everything that we just described, all of that completely goes away, and the town, the residents, whomever, may end up with an alternative that they don't like. And so I understand that this is contentious, but the alternative is that there are people paying attention, and it's very possible someone comes in and they don't need approval from anybody in this room to go do what they need to do.
Okay, folks, by a show of hands, do you still want us to vote this down, knowing that there could be
Tim.
161?
You can't do that, Tim. Can't do that.
Tried. I think I know where you are on that. Okay, so a couple other things. First of all, I live right there. My property is just north of this.
Just north, yep.
I deal with the same traffic issues that I believe Dr. Nathan brought up. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. So if we were to vote this down, in my mind, what you're asking us to do is to vote for something before the infrastructure is in place, knowing that at some point it'll happen. But I believe that the plans to expand 300 South have been in place for over 25 years. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but there's no reason to indicate that it's going to happen anytime soon. So my concern is traffic. My concern is, as you look at this map, and I did this once before, look at all the grayed out area around your development. And look at the size of the lots, of the houses, the open space, and then look at the development itself. And it just doesn't fit. That's the problem, is we're not against development. Nobody here is saying that it shouldn't be developed. We understand that it's R1. Does everybody understand that? So we understand that it can be developed. We're just saying we're not gonna hand out zoning that allows you to go even more dense than what's already going to probably not be palatable for most of the people around it. So I genuinely appreciate the work you've done. I think you have a good product. This is not a suggestion that Pulte doesn't develop, properties well. It's just, it doesn't fit for somebody who lives right there and has to deal with the traffic and knows that chasing AV comes with a lot of other things, right? The resources it takes, the additional firefighters, police. This is why urban sprawl is such a problem in America today. Lots of towns are chasing that AV. Oh, we could get more money here, more tax here, more. But then you have to service this area, right? And it costs a lot of money. What it costs to just raise a child in Zionsville to go through our school system is a lot of money. And this is prime homes for families. So I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kids that would live in this area that are going to populate our schools, which are already, as it's already been pointed out, bulging at the seams. So do appreciate what you've done. I'll leave it to the other counselors to ask their questions.
I have a question for Mike Dale, and then we can kick it around. Mike, just tracking on some comments. Can you confirm the date of certification? Is it April 27th or April 21st? The proposed ordinance says the 27th, but the memo that you sent suggested that it was April 21st.
Right, the Plan Commission meeting was on April 21st. The letter of certification was dated April 27th.
Just to clarify, just so we're on the same page, the final date of action by the town council would be technically July 25th. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. The second question I had for you was, and I'm just following back up on the question that I asked previously, so I'd like just a little bit more clarification, because I was able to pull up some previous emails where you initially shared with town council that the change in the comp plan from the Zionsville plan to the Boone County plan would be unlikely to have changed the staff's favorable position based on the 5 factors. Is that correct? Because I felt like your answer maybe suggested that not only might it have changed the vote, it might have changed the project as it went through the process.
So again, it's hard to speculate, what would have happened. And it is just one of 5 factors. And I've talked to staff a number of times, and there's difference of opinions, frankly, among staff about to what extent it would have changed staff's opinion. So I don't think I can give you an absolute answer as to where staff would have stood.
No, other than I think that your previous comment was pretty firmly that it unlikely that it would have changed.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I mean, for me, it comes down to, is 38 homes worth the risk of a builder coming in, no setback, no mounds, no shrubs, no upgrades, no brick, no masonry, just vinyl homes. I mean, somebody can probably make that work. These guys, in my opinion, are putting a lot of money into making it fit, and they ask in return for 38 homes. That, maybe I'm making it too simplistic, but that's kind of how I see it. I live north of you,
No questions, please, from the crowd.
all of you.
So that was, you have questions, just a clarifying comment?
That's a clarifying, I'm just trying to
Yes.
make sense of it in my mind. And, I mean, maybe we are willing to risk somebody coming in and putting 161 crappy homes, because they can without any input, right? Is that what, right?
The standards for R1 are very few. Just minimum building setbacks, minimum height standards, or maximum height standards.
They wouldn't have
Yeah.
to put the shrubs and the trees and all that stuff to try to isolate property.
Not to this extent.
I had a question along the same lines. With our new comprehensive plan going into effect, I kind of concentrated on a page that said that the numbers could go up to 240 under the new comprehensive plan suggested. The line we drew, I don't know, we changed something right in this area. And there's a page in his packet, which I don't have in front of me. Yeah, this page, where it says uniquely Zionsville and the arrow points next to it. Do you see on your screens? It shows that the total allowed will become 240. So I was starting to think, as we address 161, are we missing the bigger picture that this might be the opportunity to keep it from 240 instead of saying we're adding 38, we're actually decreasing? But I am taking your word at that when I look at your packet. I did not do any calculations based on the new comprehensive plan, but that was a page, because I think in numbers, that caught me. So is the total allowed going to be 240 with the new comprehensive plan? I understand that once you start a project, you go with the comprehensive plan that's in place when you're doing. And I understand that we had confusion between the Boone County comprehensive plan and the Zionsville comprehensive plan. But I'm actually talking about the what if this is a no. Is our new number actually 240 in this area that someone could come build with no, as Joe put, shrubs, masonry, window well work?
It's a great question, Sarah, and I'm going to actually maybe ask Evan, if you can remember this. And in fact, Rex, maybe this was before the final version, because at the end of that comp plan, we took out density numbers.
Yeah, well, remember, we took out density numbers, but let's not confuse the prescribed density as required under a zoning ordinance versus that called for under our comprehensive plan.
Exactly.
Right.
So the zoning would be the same.
The zoning is still 1 acre, 1 unit per acre.
Right.
And that's the zoning, that's the law.
Right.
Whether we're dealing with, and this is just me, whether we're dealing with the Boone County plan, the old plan, the new plan, it's still 1 unit per acre, that's the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the law.
Without a rezone.
Without a rezone.
Yeah, please go.
Right.
But a rezone would be more palatable if the comprehensive plan, as one of the 5 steps of the Indiana code that he quoted, it would be easier to make because one of the 5 qualifications would be that it could be 240.
I don't think it would be I don't think there's a calculation you can put in for 240 because there's no density number used in the comprehensive plan. It uses other data that's really around the other 4 categories, because it's really like, what else is in the density of the immediate area?
Because we didn't really like want to pigeonhole ourselves into like specific density, like like you have to have 4 units per the acre.
I'm just pointing out that I don't think there's an accurate number we can throw out there to say
It's not an
240.
accurate number, but
It could be.
Could be higher, it could be lower.
It could be a lot higher than 199.
Yeah. So that was one thing. Honestly, a consideration I had when I was reading through remonstrance emails was, I believe it is, one of you spoke. I want to say it was Greg McDaniel, maybe.
He was the
Could you decrease any of the, these lots here? Could you push these back a little farther so we make this further away, more rural in appearance? And also maybe getting away from his home or her home, I'm not sure who it was. Is there any additional wiggle room in that entrance? Because when I look at the entrance from 300, I see what you were saying about the space and the sight lines. But when I look at 875, I don't see that as well. So for me, it would be more palatable to lose specific housing right there at that entrance to push it back into the density of the neighborhood and remain the rolling hills that everyone talks about with being in Zionsville and having the sight lines be more rural. That was one thought I had. Also, let's see. Honestly, school's a hard one for me because I do go to the school pretty much every time we have a request for a rezone, and Dr. Kaufman generally says to me, if we're not growing, we're dying in a school district. That is her standard answer. And I know that I looked into the trail side and Union areas where this could go to either one. Both elementary schools do have room. When it comes to the middle schools, I agree with everyone. I think we have a concerning problem. But I think we already have that whether we add a neighborhood or not. So there is going to be needing funding. And that's the one part that I have become very familiar with as we are asked for all this. I know it's hard when you hear that we might be considering AV or taxable income as we shift between where our municipality is being funded. But we can't fix 300 without some road impact fees. And we up here, we all know, I would guess everyone would agree that we do need a roundabout fix or the widening of the 300 that's been projected. We need to push that. We need to fix our roads. I've heard that over and over from the people on the north side that 300 is a bear to get through. So we can't just create money. That is the one. It sounds weird because you put more cars on the road, so you think that makes it worse, but the houses come with the money to fix the roads, to widen that road that specifically needs to be widened. I don't know. I've been a real 50-50 person on this. Rex has asked me to meet with him. I asked for him to put basements in these houses. I kind of joked that it was Tornado Alley up there where you guys seem to get different weather pattern than me in the south side. But they did that. I've heard window wells being upgraded for a request. I've heard density being lowered as a request. I hear everyone come here, and I agree with you. You want what you have. You want your view. You want to protect the ecosystem. But I do hear the actual farmer, and I am a property rights person, so it's not a slam dunk for me in either direction. I think the farmers are amazing people, and I'm glad we have farmers to feed our country. We're very blessed in our country for that. But I grew up on a nursery, and we had big machinery, and when we couldn't move our trees. We sold off areas of it because we couldn't get the trees out of the ground where we were growing them because the road had become unpassable for our tree diggers. So I actually understand that part of Dan Smith. And, you know, I felt that very deeply when you said it's a generational consideration. And that's hard because we do want our neighbors to do what we want them to do, but I believe in property rights, so that spoke to me a lot. Thank you for coming tonight.
Anyone else have questions? Yeah, there was, about the other person who wanted to. No, we did that, right? Okay.
Well, can I ask a specific question? Rex, would your team consider moving a few more houses out of the 875 entrance? Is there any way to drop 4 houses to get further in, the 2 on each side? And I'm asking specific houses. I'm not asking you to say, we'll drop 4 houses. I want those houses dropped.
Yes, we would be willing to look at that. I would ask for clarification on which houses you want. And the reason why we have not, the reason why this conversation has not taken place very much to date is we did not want to make certain site plan changes that were very specific to 1 or 2 people and that we couldn't accommodate other people on a different side of the project. So we have been very hesitant to talk about this particular entrance and the lots that are both on the north and the south of the entrance off of 875. If your question specifically is, Rex, can you get rid of 2 lots on the north and 2 lots of the south and push them somewhere else into the center of the development to recess from 875 where the first home hits? Yes, I think 4 houses in total, 2 on the north and 2 on the south, to be fair to the houses that flank both our north and our south.
I just want to respect the people that do live there. If there's a different spot that's close to somebody, because I heard people saying that, and you think that the neighbors that already live there could be more positively affected if you could just listen to the people around you. I don't think anyone is going to be perfectly happy, but if someone's house is extremely encroached, could you look at that? Or maybe even if it's just the front 2 houses over here on the east side and you are over near, I wish I could have written down everybody's names, but if you're over near Matt Cornicione, maybe there's a house you could take out there because he's the one with 7 new lots behind him. Maybe you could find a way. If there, for me, because I do hear the people that are already here, and I respect you guys for coming. I think it's incredible to have our town be so invested in having the best next choice made. But I think those tweaks would be good selling points to me. And I don't know if any of you guys have a different area that you're like, actually, I thought this is where, but I thought it couldn't hurt to ask you. And then, I don't know, I feel like the number that we're approving tonight is really not that big.
So just to clarify, so thank you, Sarah. Rex, what I guess I'm hearing you say, and I think we're trying to avoid trying to negotiate when we don't have to on a deadline to get something done. It sounds like between Sarah and maybe other people that there are other opportunities that you might explore around a few different lot changes. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, we would need very specific things to look at.
Yes.
To evaluate that.
I think if that were to be explored, this is just my opinion and probably Heather's and others, that would probably be something we'd want to do offline and not try to do in real time right now to get it right. And if that were the case, and I'm not saying that this is the will of this group, but I think that would be continued till our next meeting, and then that could be something that could be worked out and not worked out up here. We've missed that a lot, and we've probably not gotten it always right. So Heather, just knowing that the certification date that Mike verified was council action by July 25th, knowing our next meeting is the 20th, what are our options as a council for action? Might be a will to continue, may not, but what are our options tonight?
Yeah, and I think you also wanted me, Vice President Burke, just to share publicly sort of the process that we have to take regarding the earlier question you asked to Mike Dale, correct? Should I maybe
Yes,
start
please.
there first? Okay. So just because there was some comment made at the podium, and you all have been great, so thank you for being here tonight. The question was asked, why didn't we address the evaluation being with the Zionsville comp plan versus the Boone County comp plan? And I will share that when that was shared, I believe with maybe Council McElderry first, and he shared with legal counsel and town council leadership, we have been working with town leadership on that issue since that date that we became aware of it. So unfortunately, that date was after it was certified to the Plan Commission. So the town council reviewed statute, I reviewed statute. We've had conversations with the Pulte legal team and the mayor's legal team. Once the Plan Commission certifies a proposal to the town council has a statutory process by which we have to evaluate a proposal as well as definitive timelines for certain actions. So we really, the town council has the option to approve the Plan Commission's recommendation, which would be to approve the petition. They could vote to deny the petition, which would remand it back to the Plan Commission for further review. There would be a 45-day period of time for which the Plan Commission would have to review that proposal. We could amend the petition, make further amendments or modifications. We would then have to provide a written statement back to the Plan Commission, and they would have 45 days to review. But what's missing, and I'm going to mess up the name, I didn't say it right, but who was the first individual, Mr. Cornicione? Cornicione, sorry. I think you referenced that. We don't have any legal recourse at the plan or at the town council level just to say, hey, Plan Commission, go back and reevaluate this using the right, comprehensive plan. Mr. Oakes talked about the 5 criteria that we are to review. The comprehensive plan is one of 5. So I know that's been stated a couple of times. That's, I agree with that. It's one of 5 things that the town council should look at as a guiding, principle. So I did want to assure all of you that have been here today that we have had conversations about that. We have looked at the options that were available to the town council, and this is where we are. So why were we so pressed in on the certification date? The certification date is day 1 of a 90-day period of time that the town council has to do one of those 3 actions that I just articulated. So technically, having until July 25th gives the town council the opportunity to come back in their next regularly scheduled meeting and or a special meeting that could be scheduled to request an amendment of the Pulte team, to bring that forward as a recommendation to the Plan Commission to change their recommendation based on, additional agreements that the Pulte team may wish to make or may not wish to make. So there is an option to bring that back. The other thing I wanted to point out to the town council as you're considering all your options tonight is that because we don't have President Plunkett with us, in the event of a tie vote, we will not have a proposal that affirmatively passes or affirmatively fails. In that instance, we're going to have to come back either at a regularly scheduled meeting, which is before the 90-day period of time, or in a special meeting and have a vote with all 7 councilors present, to make a determining action, because failure to act would result in the Plan Commission's proposal being approved. And if we don't get a majority vote one way or another within the 90 days, that would be failure to act, and that petition would be approved. So we're working with a lot of different variables. So if you see us asking those questions, that's what we're trying to make sure we understand. And we wanted to make sure the Pulte team was, part of those discussions as those conversations were evolving. So we do have that option. We do have an option to continue if they're is a desire to have more negotiation or a potential amended proposal with additional commitments brought back before the next meeting. Or you can certainly, ask for a motion to approve or a motion to deny. So those are the three options that we have, I think, on the table. And do appreciate the comments that were raised and wanted just to share that additional information with all the folks who came to remonstrate.
Thank you so much. And just to add one tidbit, depending on that date, because it had been the date that we had previously asked about, we wouldn't have 90 days. It would have been the 91st day. So in fact, that option would be taken off the table. So we would have to act, there would be no chance to continue, if that was at all appetizing for folks. Okay. Any other final questions? We typically don't do this, but
Yes.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I forgot about
No,
Mr. Yim.
yes, please. Is
Is
Mr. Yim still here?
here in the audience? Mr. Yim, is that you? So Mr. Yim, I'm so sorry. So Mr. Yim, this is very unprecedented, but we've talked about it and we think it's fair. He had emailed a request to speak yesterday that didn't get delivered, potentially caught in spam filter. We do have your original email that you sent, and I think we'd like to invite you up to give your 3 minutes of public testimony, since you did attempt to follow our process and rules, if you're still interested in providing public testimony. Yeah, no problem. Please come on up. Sorry for the confusion. Oh, come to the microphone first. Yeah, there you go.
I was trying to get my 3 minutes. My name's Jonathan Yim. I live at 8430 East, 300 South. Basically, right across from where this possible school is in the Pulte development. First, thank you to the town council members. Thank you for your time and all you've devoted for doing this. I know you spend all this time, and it's for the citizens of Zionsville. We do appreciate that. My wife and I also chose our 4-acre lot about 12 years ago for our family to live in the country. We wanted to get to Zionsville. We had a chance to move back to Indy, and it was like, well, we're picking Zionsville if we can, and we found a great place. The farmers basically we wanted farms to be our neighbors and horses, and we got both. We got horses in our backyard, and we got farms across the street. Pulte, as they've stated, they want to build 199 homes on 140 acres. It's not 160 acres, it's 140 acres. They're trying to go 199 homes on it. So by what we've spoken about, they should be able to build 140 max. It's not plus 38, it's plus 59. They claim that this will fit in well with the existing neighborhood. I have seen one neighbor here tonight that is speaking up in favor of them. However, everyone else that I've talked to is not in favor of this. They compare their density to several other developments in their handout. Of those, they said 17 developments, but only 5 of those are actually rural developments. In the rural developments, if you look at it, that should be a better comparison. And that density would be 1.5 units per acre. In my mind, that's 2/3 of an acre. I just think that way. So houses on 2/3 of an acre is what the average would be. But Pulte is actually proposing a 1/4 acre. So you're already dropping from 2/3 of an acre for the surrounding comparison down to a 1/4 acre. Basically, they're looking at 3 times more dense than what the average average of their developments would be. That's not really speaking about the actual neighbors that live there. It would make sense that if we're going to have a new development, and we will have one someday, 1 minute, okay, that the transition should be smooth to the current thing, which is rural estates. The home sites that actually touch Bradbury property are average 5.87 acres per home. 5 acres, not a 1/4 acre. That is not a smooth transition. I'm really concerned this would be that the Pulte development is inconsistent with the present neighbors. I have no problem with homes being built on, like, say 2 to 3 acre lots on 300 South, and more built that are adjacent to the current neighbors that actually exist there. Those acres we have ranges from 2 to 20 acres. So putting a 1/4 acre next to it, it doesn't matter. It's not going to look good. As for the southern portion of the 140 acres, perhaps there's a part where if it's not touching current homes, you could be more dense, maybe 1 to 2 acre lots. If you're asking what if you're asking what do the neighbors here think, are we afraid of what's going to happen if you turn this down? Everyone's here because they don't want this. So we're willing to take that chance. It would be on us. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay. If there are no more questions, no more comments, you heard Sarah, or you heard Heather kind of walk through what our options are tonight. So I think we need to consider a motion from the council.
My motion would be to deny, so am I going to get a second?
One motion to deny by Councilor McElderry. Do we have a second? No second. Do we have another motion?
I'll speak at once.
Well, is there a way to make a motion with a decrease of 4 homes? Are we there?
That'd be a postpone, right?
What?
That'd be a motion to postpone. Or
That's what I
continue.
mean. Are we,
You could,
are we making a motion with, we'll accept 195
I think we'd
houses?
prefer not to try to make
That's
a
what I-
motion that would negotiate a new number if in fact we have time to continue. Sometimes we haven't had that window, so we had to, this was crunch time.
That's what
So
I
I think if, in lacking any motion here, I feel like maybe it feels like a motion to continue
I'd
might
like to
be
make
the
a
will of
motion
the
to
group.
Continue.
Okay.
Second.
So we have a motion by Counselor Sampson to continue this to the next meeting, seconded by Counselor Stein. Let's take a vote. All in favor of the motion to continue, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Was that just one?
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to continue passes 5-1.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To the extent that anybody has feedback, I'd love to have it, and I'll reach out offline. Thank you.
All right, we do have to keep moving. Let's, we got quite a few people here. We want to give it a minute to let folks depart.
if you all, as you're departing, we have more business to do. If you could just walk quietly and not talk, that would be great. Hey, everybody in the audience, we have more business to conduct. Gentlemen, Mr. Yim, I only know your name, so I don't know the other gentleman's name, so it's like school, like you get called out. We still have other business to conduct, so if you are going to depart, or if you're going to have conversation, can you please step in the hallway? Young lady that's in the blonde hair with the blue shirt talking to the gentleman in the checks shirt. Ma'am?
Thanks, everybody. All right, let's move on. We do have a new business item to discuss, which is a consideration of an ordinance regarding an easement vacation. This will be a first reading and a public hearing. This is ordinance 2026-16. Mike Dale will also kick it to you again to walk us through this proposal.
Okay, Jeffrey and Julie Rudolph, there you are seeking to vacate a portion of a variable drainage easement in the backyard area of Lot K34 in Section 3 of the Club at Holiday Farms. If granted, the remaining easement would be reduced to 10 feet, 10 feet wide along the south and west property lines of the tract of land. The purpose of the requested vacation is to accommodate a future pool, patio area, and landscaping. The requested vacation has been reviewed by the town's Technical Advisory Committee, and no town department or utility provider expressed concerns about this proposal. The Town Department of Public Works determined that, among other things, that all drainage systems within the subdivision are privately owned and maintained by the Homeowners Association. There are no drainage pipes within the subject easement. The purpose of the easement is to allow for overflow, to pass water overflow from upstream properties. The developer's engineer has reviewed the current conditions and concluded only minimal water will flow through the affected area. Even during a large storm event with the inlets clogged, All overland flow will be able to pass through the subject area without impacting adjacent properties if the requested vacation is granted. The Department of Public Works, and therefore also the Planning and Building Department, do not object to the proposed reduction in the drainage easement. Planning staff notes that approval of the requested vacation will not affect the 30-foot rear yard building setback requirement of the plat. Again, the request is to reduce the width and breadth of this drainage easement to 30 feet, or excuse me, to 10 feet, but there is still a 30-foot building setback requirement of the zoning ordinance. That concludes my comments at this point.
So just to be clear, it sounds like, and I mean, we've had a number of these come before the council. Certainly I have in the last 6 years, and we've certainly heavily weighed upon DPW and Mr. Lance, who is not here. But it sounds like
He's sitting right there.
Easier.
My friend, thank you.
I take offense to that.
Oh.
He's been sitting back here watching intently.
He's so
the entire
tan.
time. Anyways.
Lance, I mean, if you wouldn't come, it sounds like maybe Mr. Dale was referencing that you had weighed in on the matter. I would love to hear from you because your opinion matters greatly. I know in my opinion and the whole council.
So I think there may be a little, oh, sorry, Lance, Public Works Director, or remind everyone who
sitting in the back.
Sitting in the back row. What may be slightly different in this than what you've seen before is what we used to have our encroachment requests, which meant there's an easement and they want to do something in there. This is an easement vacation. Now, you've probably, if you glanced through, you saw how large that easement is taking up their backyard. And Holiday Farms, it's a long night, and I even had to do what you guys have had to do. Holiday Farms is an entirely private drainage, so we really don't invoke the drainage code as far as easement encroachments go because we don't own, maintain, or control infrastructure there. So this is a vacation. This is getting rid of the easement. And I think if you saw some of the background from Mr. Dale in the packet, Holiday Farms began as a very rolling, hilly development, and some of these large hill areas were put in easements with the assumption that nobody's ever going to use them because the terrain drops off so rapidly. But the people who are moving into there want to maximize their lots, so they're filling and leveling rather than integrating into the natural topography. So maybe that's too long-winded to say. This doesn't have anything to do with drainage pipes. This is just overland routing, and we don't have any objection to vacating this. This is a vacation vacation task and not an encroachment.
Utilize you as my expert for one more issue.
Okay.
This is different than somebody trying to build in the back set or the building setback line as well.
That is, yeah,
That's entirely
that
different.
remains in the jurisdiction of the planning department because the vacation of the easement does not amend that rear building setback line. So any qualifying ancillary or extra developments in the back of the yard will be subject to that line.
So Mike, I'll turn to you then. The BSL is really the issue that we're seeing percolating a little bit with some of these Holiday Farms.
Yes.
The building and the building setback line, not necessarily drainage easement.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that.
Did you expect there may be more of these coming before us?
First one we've had in Holiday Farms, it's an actual vacation of a private individual easement.
Okay. But to clarify, you're okay with this moving forward?
Yes, no objection.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Dale or Mr.?
So to be clear, this is not a commercial for a vacation at a Holiday Inn, right? That's not what's going on here.
Good, very
I don't have any questions about it, but I'll make a motion when you're ready for it.
Please, what are two things we need to do?
We always typically invite the petitioner if he would like to say a few words in support of his petition. And then we also have proof of publication because this is a public hearing. So we need to do those two procedural things. So, Mr. Rudolph.
Probably been a long night for everybody. Jeff Rudolph, 4220 Strathmore Lane and Holiday Farms here in Zionsville. I really have nothing more to add, just that as you look at the recorded plat and you see the variable drainage easement that was completed as part of the recorded plat, it encroaches on the yard as you go north to south past the building setback line. We fully appreciate and understand that this is not a exception on the BSL variance, but at a minimum, this allows us to use the property up to the BSL because currently it encroaches past that line as you get towards the southern part of the property. And so this gives us opportunity to either have a more scaled back project or fulfill the variance process if we see a path to do that.
Mr. Rudolph, I'm looking at this, and it looks like your property and the one next to it have a much more substantial variable drainage easement.
Yes.
Can you help me with the topography? Like, what's going on right there that would be so different compared to all of the other properties to the south?
I wish I could tell you. We actually engaged the engineering firm, Kripe, who did I believe, a lot of the engineering for the site when it was constructed, to come in and do a drainage assessment. So that was on our dime to have them come in. And what I understand is before final grade was done, that was viewed as the main overflow area for a pond that is north of Pete Dye on hole number 2, if you ever played that course. So I believe at that time, before final grade was done, before they actually built homes on those lots, that was the main flow area for overflow. So I think that it was perceived at the time when they platted that we needed a larger drainage easement, but as you were to view the property today as under final grade, there's clearly not a need for that. But that was under the view of the engineer. But I don't know a lot of the history.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so before we can make a motion, Mr. Melton, this is a public hearing, and I need to open the public hearing. We have proof of publication or notice of this public hearing. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on this item? If not, I will close the public hearing. Now I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the vacation request for a portion of a drainage easement located on Lot K34 of the Club at Holiday Farms, Section 3, 4220 Stratmore Lane.
This is an ordinance, so we got to introduce it.
I'm sorry. So can we just change that to introduce
Yes.
the approval of the vacation request?
Correct. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilor Melton to introduce and a second by Councilor McElderry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Okay.
And just so Mr. Rudolph's aware, there will be a final hearing on this at the next meeting as well. That was, because it's an ordinance, that was just the first reading. There will be a second hearing, a final hearing as well.
And that'll be July 20th in the morning at 7:30.
So if we did choose, just one question on that. If we did choose to not pursue the variance request for going into the BSL and wanted to do a project within the BSL or not encroaching on the BSL, we would still have to wait for that final hearing before any permitting. Is that?
Oh, that's a Mike Dale question.
That's correct. We won't issue a permit in the easement. So the easement has to be.
We have to wait until the final rule?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You are welcome to apply for the permit if you haven't yet done that. We just won't approve it until the easement's approved.
The process will be, the town council will consider it on July the 20th at 7:30 in the morning, and then it gets forwarded to the mayor for final action.
Got it. Okay.
We'll see you then.
Thank you for clarification.